in my pockets, I got nothing up my sleeve. I keep my magic in my heart. Keep up your spirit, keep up your faith, baby. I am counting on you. You know what you got to do. Fight the good fight, everybody. Every minute, every day. Fight the good fight, everybody. It's your only way. All your life you've been waiting for your chance. Where you fit into the land. You're the master of your own destiny. So give and take the best that you can.
That I myself was at risk. Because if you remember, we knew nothing about COVID back then, and the risks were endless. And I remember the night that I was in there, because what would happen is a person would have to be prone. They'd have to lay on their stomach, ventilated. And then when they could finally be turned over, often what was happening is the tubes would break and come apart. And I remember that one night that I was in that room for 45 minutes holding this tube together as the COVID germs are flying all over the room. And I'm wearing the same mask that I have now worn for my 8th shift.
Last year, hospitals made record profits, and nurses, in order to become a nurse, you have to go to school for that. There's no other way to do my job. So even though they were making profits, I'm still sitting here in student loan debt just to save lives going forward, even after all this is done. And if we hadn't been willing to do that, I don't know who would have staffed hospitals. And I still 7 to 8 more years before my loans are going to be paid off.
Concerned about the potential reduction of mental health inpatient beds and services in the East Metro. The current climate of mental health in Minnesota is in crisis. A recent study ranks Minnesota as one of the top states in providing care. But with that statement acknowledged, as a nurse in the field, I believe based on our lack of care here in Minnesota, this data demonstrates the true crisis in the United States.
I have a 17-month-old son who attends daycare. There have been 3 occurrences when I have had to miss work due to a daycare closure because they have had a COVID exposure or they are waiting a COVID test themselves. How will I provide care for him when I only have 5 hours of bank time off right now? How will I continue to pay my bills? I cannot rely on my family as they are busy with their work as well. What is a mother left to do? I will choose my family every time. Thankfully, I had coworkers who donated some shifts to me so that I could continue to draw a paycheck during this time off when I was allowed to return back to work. The lack of emergency leave has created a financial burden and unnecessary stress for essential workers who are taking care of Minnesotans during this pandemic. Healthcare workers are left to use our own time off to cover their mandatory leave, but we're running out and starting to go without pay. This leaves us to feel that we have been failed by the systems that we provide care in. Healthcare facilities should provide leave for COVID-19 and related illnesses, even if the test result is negative.